Hi guys, so I'm back to tell the story of the nurse and the inmate. Okay, so I was there at the prison in North Carolina. This is the best place to ever work. So it's at Central Prison, and Central Prison is known for housing the inmates that are on death row. Okay, my particular unit housed 23 in and 1 hour out inmates. So I pretty much knew who was coming in and out of the unit because you can see them on camera, or you hear that door slam at the very front because it's fairly loud. You could just look around the corner and there you could see the people coming in through the door. Well, my particular unit, I think all units, but mainly mine, you have to go and walk the unit to make sure everybody is okay, everybody is still alive, everybody, standing at the door when you go through because they want to see what kind of shoes you have on and how your hair has been done and if you got on lipstick today or, your eyebrows have been done a certain way. And I mean, they pay attention to everything. Inmates don't have anything else to do but to pay attention to everything coming in and out the door. So my thing was they would always come, if I had to go in a unit, they would always say something about my shoes. I like nice shoes and tennis shoes at that because I couldn't wear anything else. You better have on some tennis shoes when you work in a prison, okay? Just in case something, pop out, pop up, or come around that corner and you wasn't ready. You gotta get those tennis shoes so you can take off running, and I'm a big woman. Running? You've never seen a big woman run? Yeah, I'm gone. I don't give a crap. All the pain in the world couldn't stop me from just taking the hell off, honey. I don't care. So, yes, my tennis shoes, I always had Nikes on. If it wasn't Nikes, it's my Reeboks. And that's what I wore at that time. So I had on that particular day black Nikes, and everybody loves Nikes. And I'm like, no, sure, you got on black Nikes today. Where you get them? You ain't seen them before. And you look at them like, you ain't supposed to see them. Matter of fact, you ain't supposed to be seeing them right now. Why are you looking at them? Matter of fact, don't be saying no sure anything about my clothes, my hair, my lips, my nothing. You have to make it very clear to them, as well as other people that are around you when they're saying it, such as the officers, or, your boss could be walking around with you to check to see about the inmates. Like, because you have 2 tiers, some had 3 tiers. And with me having to do it, I'm going to tell you right now, you better be standing at that door. I'm going to kick that door. You're going to get up. You're going to move. You're going to breathe. You're going to do something because it's a long process. It's probably going to take you about 30 minutes because it's like, I think it was 4 pods. And yeah, 4. And then you got 2 tiers and you got 3 tiers on some of the units. So it housed about 300 inmates over there, if not a little less. It was a lot, to put it that way. And you had to make sure everybody get to that door. So this particular day that she came over, I just noticed that she would come a lot. Put it that way. She came a lot. She always wanted to do the rounds. Hell yeah, you can do them. Go on, do them. Because that's a tiresome process. And she said, well, you do this half and I do this half over here. And I'm like, okay, I can do that too. You're going to help me out, my kneecaps, Hey, have that at. So, but it would always be the same side. She would never want to switch the sides. And I would be like, okay, well, as long as you help me out, I don't care. So little to my knowing of what she was doing, because it would take me half that time to do half of the unit, or sometimes like 10 minutes, because they're already standing at the door. You had to do it at least once a shift. My shift was 8 to 5. So it had to be done. You couldn't get out of doing it. But she was so happy to do that half, I was just like, go and do it. So I did not know that she was coming to do that side because she wanted to see a certain inmate. I didn't know that she had some type of fascination with this inmate. It never crossed my mind. Nobody ever said anything to me about it. But later on, I found out that's what she was doing. So when you come to that unit, you have to come in through, of course, through that big loud damn door. And the inmate was in the first pod. And when you come to the door, it's on the left. All your inmates are on the left side. And so she would immediately do the second pod and then scoot her way on over to that pod, getting ready to go on out the door. So, the warden and the assistant warden and your boss, as well as your manager that's on that unit, they pay attention as well. They pay attention to how you look in the morning, if your hair is done a certain way, if you're wearing makeup, if your clothes are a little too tight, if your bra is showing, if your tits are too high and they see your nipples. They pay attention as well as the inmates. There's a thing called PREA, Prison Rape Elimination Act. So, a lot of inmates are getting raped by other inmates and by other guards, as well as nurses, as well as maintenance people. You have to watch everybody. Now, mind you, these are grown-ass men, okay? But because they're in a position to where they are able to so-called have power over telling you no, then that Elimination Act will protect them. And with that Elimination Act, if you look it up, you can serve some time for it if you were to mess with an inmate, as well as pay a fine, and it's a hefty fine. At that time, I think it was like $8,000 or $9,000. To me, that's hefty. I'm not going to give you money and then go serve, 5 to 10 years too. That makes absolutely no sense in my brain. Matter of fact, it doesn't even make sense in my brain where you would want to mess with an inmate. I mean, come on. What can they do for you? Y'all have heard all these cases. You've heard cases about women, falling in love with an inmate, helping them get out of prison and all this. You have lost your entire mind. I'm not going to give up my license. I'm not going to give up my license to do what? So anyway, this girl, when she first started, she was a plain Jane, okay? Just like me, I'm plain. I'm a plain Jane. I don't wear a whole bunch of makeup. Every now I will, but I'm not a makeup person. But she had this long Goldilocks type hair, and she would always pull it up, but her hair was all the way down to her butt. And I had told her she needed to cut that. Let somebody get a hold of it, and just start swinging your ass around. She never worried about it. Everybody's different, So she wore it down, and she started wearing it down a lot because, like I said, when she first came in there, she was a plain Jane too. And so her clothes were loose. There was nothing, but she was a little short, Humpty Dumpty person. She's probably like 5 foot tall, 5'2", 5'3", and she wore glasses. She has a child, and she would just come to work. She didn't talk very much, very quiet, very laid back. She would talk to you if you talked to her. I'm not saying she was antisocial or anything. She just wasn't a person that talked a lot. Okay, sorry for the phone being. I'm not starting this video over either. So with her, she had her own unit as well. But her unit, you have a lot of people running in and out, running around, coming to the nurse's station to get medication, stuff like that. Her unit was more movable. And she did her job, and she did her sick calls over there and everything. But for some reason, her sick calls were short. And not in a prison. Every day you can have up to about 100 sick calls of the same cotton picking thing over and over and over. There's no limit on how many an inmate can put in for the same freaking thing. Okay? So my list to call people in their daily will probably be around 15 people. And it would be those that had some serious conditions. So with her, it 5 people. Because you have to write them down and put them in. send them into your supervisor at that time. So hers will be about 5. So anyway, this particular day, like I said, the warden had noticed, everybody had noticed the change in her behavior, in the way she looked. The way you look is really the first thing that catches people's attention, the way you look. I don't change. My hair is natural. I used to wear it in a fro. Still do. Not used to. But I wore it in a fro there, and they would always mess with me about it. No, sure, what you got going on today with your hair? Why you wearing your hair like that? Don't worry about my hair. My hair is on my head. Don't worry about it. You go on over there and stay in yourself. That type thing. That was me. And still me today. You talk smack, I'ma talk smack. If you sit up there and tell me I look good, well, I know I do, but don't be telling me that, because I already know that. So you have to make it very clear to them, you're not going to pull me in. So I don't know what was going through her mind to make her feel good, except the fact that he was giving her some type of love somewhere in her life that she was missing. That's the only thing I could think of. Now, he was a handsome kid, but he was a kid, and he was in there for life. So, like I said, she felt some type of way about him, and he made her feel like she was everything in the world. And she started going to that one pod all the time. She needed to see him about this, that, and the other. And they were like, why is she coming over here to see that? That's my inmate on my unit. So why is she coming? And boiled down to, she wanted to be in his face. They started seeing that she was lingering there at that door. Started seeing that she would just hurry up and do the rounds that she was supposed to do and get to that door and stand there and talk to him. You never stand and talk to an inmate on a pod. I call them pod, or a block, or whatever you want to call it. You don't do that, unless you have an officer with you. And even then, you don't stand there forever talking to them. I mean, you just can't do it. The officers got to get back to work. And they will come with you, Most of them would stand at the door for me. And I would just run, see the doors, and if people weren't talking, they weren't, like I said, I kicked the damn door. You're going to get up. You're going to move. So with her, though, she would just stay there and talk and talk and talk. So come to find out, not all of this is hearsay. This is what I got secondhand. I noticed the makeup and everything, and I told her she looked pretty, in the nurse's station. I was like, oh, you look, yeah, you look okay. Well, your face look pretty, you got your hair all the way down to your butt, and yeah, amazing. Matter of fact, that was like maybe 3 days before all of this came to head. She got caught on the unit, from my understanding. She was having sex with the guy in the booth. Those that are in the booth are the officers. And they were letting her come in. And when she came in, she was going straight to that room. They also have in the booth control of opening up the doors. And they would actually open up that door, that particular door, as she went in the door. And they would close it back. So they were having sex in the room, more than likely, 9 times out of 10. And she's having sex with the officer in the booth. From my understanding, the rule of thumb was she was having sex to just with her mouth, oral sex. And then after that, she would go down there to that room whenever she was there to have sex with the inmate. Now, this, again, is hearsay. All I can really tell you for sure is that she looked different. And she came to help me on my rounds on the unit. Because I was like, I need help to do it. Help me. So, one day, we came into work and hadn't been quite assigned to certain tasks. Because you also had to do tasks prior to going to your unit. And we were all just in there. And the phone call came through and said that everybody needed to stay there. All the nurses and all the medical staff. So we were waiting, and 4 white shirts came in. Anytime you see a white shirt, something's wrong. Something is getting ready to go down. Something's getting ready to happen. Somebody's getting ready to get walked out, get towed off, get set somewhere in the back room. They're going to grill you about something. You gotta write some witness statements. I hate those witness statements. But this particular day, as I said, they came down, they were talking, and they were asking for her. And she came. He said, grab all your things. We're going to get ready to go. And no type of explanation to us, no type of explanation to the supervisor. Nothing was given to us. All we know is she got up, she got her stuff, she was walked out. Now, mind you, it's an embarrassment. Central has a big, long hallway you have to walk through to get to the very front. And that same hallway to come through. That's why the inmate knows what you have on for the day. They know your hair. They know everything about you because they can see you come through that long glass hallway, as well as they know where you park. They know what kind of car you have, and they'll tell you because they have nothing else to do. Okay, so as they were walking her down through that hallway, they were all staring. And I had to go to my unit because we were all still shocked. And the inmates were like, Nurse Cheryl, you know what happened, right? What? What happened? What happened? Let me know. And they were like, she was over there messing with the inmate, right? And I'm like, no. I didn't know that. Yeah, she was over there messing with the inmate, and he went into the room and everything. She was just, staying in there for a long time. And I'm like, you just now telling me this? Now I'm your nurse on this unit, and you just now telling me this? Well, we thought you knew. That's what I say. Inmates know everything. They know everything before you even know, honey. And it was like, okay, what else was going on? Well, the man in the booth. It depends on who it is, but when that certain man is in the booth, man, we already know she coming. She coming, Nurse Cheryl. And I'm like, okay, well, I thought she was doing just checking y'all. That's it. I didn't know any rest of this stuff. I pay attention to everything, but that particular thing I did not pay attention to. I was looking for the help, child. The help, okay? The help. I needed help walking around them damn units. So, or pods, or whatever you want to call them, guys. You know what I'm talking about. The blocks and stuff. So, when I went back to the main nursing station at the end of my day, talking to the supervisor, and I was telling him what I learned. And he was like, yeah, because they don't tell him anything either, or her, whoever it may be. But it was a he at that time, and he was like, because you as a nurse in the nurses, you are over just nursing. We have our own whole department and whole bosses. It's just medical. Officers have their own people, warden and all of them, their managers to report to. So for me, I would just report to my supervisor or immediate supervisor, which would be him. So, but they don't tell him anything. I'm thinking it's because he's afraid that, or they are afraid that there may be some, okay, let me know what's going on, or, expose the whole situation. Which wouldn't matter anyway, because we are seeing you walk this person out. I followed them, talking to her, asking if she was going to be okay, her child was going to be okay, and things like that, because I was concerned. I was really concerned, but she was like, I'll be all right. Don't worry about it. So it's like she knew. Because see, if it was me, I would have been like, no, wait a minute, hold the fuck. What is going on right now? Why are you walking me out? I'm not even understanding. What? And then you're going to ask me for a witness statement. Witness to what? I witness you just come and tell her them 4 white shirts. And y'all walked her down that long hall of death. That's how I look at it. The long hall of death. 4. You got 2 beside you in the front, 2 behind you in the back. To make sure you don't run away, I guess, or turn around and try to run back or something. But they walked her ass right on out of there and walked her into the back of a police car. You don't play with PREA. That's Prison Rape Elimination Act. In North Carolina, they take that pretty serious. They may have something like that in other places, but that is my story of the nurse and the inmate. Apparently, he was a good looking, and he was a good looking young boy, but no, You have to keep that line. You have to keep it. You have to tell them what is what. You have to let them know, hold up, I'm a registered nurse. I am the one that runs this unit. And that's as far as it go. I'm here to make sure, because you're a patient of mine. That's how I look at them. They're patients. They are inmates. I got that. Understood. They're locked the hell down 23 hours a day. I've been lost my whole entire mind. Yeah. But there's a line. And we're going to stay at that line. Because as soon as you cross over, I'm going to curse you slap out and tell you to go right back. Now, they say, well, you're supposed to have respect for the inmates. Yeah, you do. But when you cross that line, that's telling me you don't have any respect for me. So I'm going to have to get to a point where get the fuck back over there on that line. And I want you to stay. I want you to understand that's where you better stay. So that is my story, guys, of the inmate and the nurse. And I don't know what happened to her after that. I don't. I never saw her again. I did, feel bad for her. And I was like, well, she's probably going to lose her license. You don't want to ever put your license up for, debate in North Carolina. North Carolina is one of the states, the leading states that other states like to look at as far as doing the right thing and, being fair and square with the patients. You don't hit a patient, push a patient, any of that. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I'm sorry she got that done to her, but you got to do right. You got to do right. All right, guys, that's my story about the nurse and the inmate. And hope you enjoy what I could give. And please subscribe so that I can go live with these stories. It would be great. And God bless. Thank you.